Hello everyone, today we will have a look at the opposite color bishop endgame with two separate pawns. This position is a complete draw. Why? Because the black bishop is able to stop these pawns from moving forward and the black king stops the white king from moving forward. White wants to play the move f4, but we control the f4 square with both the bishop and the king. Let's say white would want to come into e6 and eventually try to promote his pawn. Well, after the move king to d5, we would play the move king to f6 and we control the e6 square. And so the white king can't come in. Let's say white's plan would be to come in like this, attacking the black bishop and promoting the pawn afterwards. After a move like king to c5, we can just play the move king to e7. King to b5, we can play with either the bishop or the king. Say we play the move king to f6. Because after a plan like this, we would with black be able to reach the d8 square in time. King to a6, king to e7, king to b7 and king to d8. As you can see, there is no possible way for white to make any progress. So as a conclusion, we can say that if the black bishop is able to control both of white's pawns with his bishop and the black king is able to control the white king, it is a draw. This is the Endgame series, a series in which I explain all the endgames in increasing difficulty. Also, according to YouTube statistics, only a small percentage of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed. So if you end up liking this video, consider subscribing. It's free and you can always unsubscribe. Enjoy the video. Let's now have a look at this position. This is a game played between Berger and Kottlerman, played in Arkhangelsk in 1948. And it looks like the position has gone wrong, because the white king doesn't control the black king, and the white bishop can't stop both of black's pawns at the same time. But this is a very rare example in which it's still possible for white to get a draw. So let's analyze this position. At the moment we are stopping this pawn from moving forward because we control the e2 square with the king. And we can see that the b pawn wants to promote, but we control the queening square with the bishop. Before we can correctly evaluate this position, we need to understand black's plan. Black's plan is to stand on one of these four squares to be able to promote his pawn, because only from these four squares he's able to control the queening square. Let's have a look what happens if we don't do anything with white. We play a waiting move, bishop to h7. Black's plan will be to reach one of these squares. Black plays the move b3. White plays a waiting move. Black plays the move king to b2. Doesn't do anything. Black plays the move king to c1. Now black is able to promote his pawn. After any bishop move by white, black plays the move b2. Let's say bishop back to h7, we play the move b1 queen. White takes the queen, the black king takes back, and now this is an easy win for black. We can just come closer with the king and promote the pawn. Let's say king to e2, king to c2, king to e1 and king to d3, king to f1, e2 check, and after king to e1 we have mate in 1 in this position. Black plays the move g3 check mate. The black bishop controls these squares, the black pawn controls these squares, and the black king controls these squares. The white king is in check and he has nowhere else to go. So this is checkmate. We've seen black's plan, so we need to do something about it. We have seen that black has four squares to control the queening square. Our plan with white is to play king to e2 and king to d1, controlling both of these squares. King to e2 is played, and black goes for the move b3. We play the move king to d1. Mission accomplished. Black has only two squares left. That's exactly what black's gonna do. With the move king to b4, he wants to reach one of these squares. But with white, we just play a waiting move. We play the move bishop to h7. Black continues his plan, but we stay calm and we play a waiting move. The only thing we are doing in this position is controlling the queening square. We don't want to go off this diagonal, because in this position, if black for some reason would play the move b2, we have the very strong bishop to b1 in this position. Now we control all of these squares and black will never ever be able to push one of his pawns. You might ask, well, why can't black just play a move like king to a2 or king to b2? just trying to go to a1 and push his pawn afterwards. Well, after the move king to b2, we have a very strong move with white. Now we go off this diagonal and we go to this one. We play the move bishop to f7, attacking the pawn. Now black can't finish his plan of coming to a1 and promote the pawn, because after the move king to a1 we could just take that pawn. Let's say black plays the move king to a2. And now we need to stay on this diagonal, because if we would play a move like bishop to g6, the black king would go to a1 and he would be able to promote his pawn. So again, in this position we play a waiting move, bishop to e6. Let's say black plays the move king to a6. And in this position it's very important to see black's threat, because if we're not careful in this position and we just stay on this diagonal, black would play the move b2. Threatening to promote the pawn. Of course, now we need to stop this plan and we need to play the move bishop to g6. But now black can play the move a2. Bishop to f7 check doesn't do anything because the black king goes to a1. Bishop to g6, b1 queen. We have the same winning position for black that we've seen earlier. It's very important that after the move king to e3, we go back to where we came from. Bishop to f5 and we go back to this diagonal here. And basically black can't make any progress. b2, as we've seen, we can just play the move bishop to b1. We control all of these squares with white and black will never ever be able to push one of his pawns. This is a game between Topalov and Shirov, both very strong GMs. If you've never heard of them before, you might actually know the ex-world champion Topalov from his game against Magnus Carlsen. This game was played in Linares in 1998, and black has a win in this position, but it's really not easy. Let's analyze this position. We see two separate pawns over here, and the odds favor the white pieces because the white bishop controls both of the black pawns on one diagonal, which is key if white wants to have a draw. Also, the white bishop controls this very important square, so the black king can't just come in with his king. So the white bishop controls both of black's pawns. Check. But what's number 2 again? The white king needs to control the black king. Let's say black plays the move king to d6. Black's plan is to come to c5 and push this pawn. We play the move king to f2, and after king to c5 we play the move king to e3. And now black's plan doesn't work anymore because we control the d4 square with both of our pieces. Let's say in this position black goes for another plan and he plays the move bishop to e4, targeting the pawn on g2. King to f2 is played and black plays the move king to f5. Black has changed plans and now he goes for these pawns. White plays the move g3. The pawn on g2 was attacked and he wants to be able to move his king freely. Black goes for a3 and we play the move king to e3. We are controlling this diagonal with the bishop and this very important square with the king. At the same time we are targeting this pawn on f6. But black doesn't care and he plays the move g4. We take the pawn on f6 and black takes the pawn on g3. White plays the move king to d2. Centralizing the king, he wants to keep an eye on both of these pawns. Black plays king to f4, white plays bishop to e7, attacking the pawn on a3, so black has to move that pawn. And the white bishop goes back to f6, controlling the queening square. Bishop to f5 is played, and now bishop to g7, a waiting move. In this position, black goes for a very interesting plan. He plays the move king to e4. His plan is to play the move d4, which would be stopping the white bishop from controlling the a1 square. So white has to do something about that, and white goes for the move bishop to a1, so that after the move d4 he wouldn't lose control over the a1 square. d4 is played and white plays a waiting move bishop to b2. Black plays the move d3, white plays a waiting move bishop to c3, and now black wants to go after this pawn. And so he plays the move king to f4. White plays a waiting move, bishop to b2, king to g4, bishop to f6, defending this pawn. Black promotes, now we need to take the queen, and now black is actually able to take the pawn on h4. And it looks like black is winning. But actually, this position is the same as we've seen before. Let's go back to the first diagram. In this position, we have an e pawn and a b pawn. The white king is stopping the e pawn and the white bishop is stopping the b pawn. In this position, black has a d pawn and a g pawn. The white king is stopping the d pawn and the white bishop will reroute to be able to control the queening square of the g pawn. I told you in the beginning that black had a win in this position. There is only one move that actually wins in this position. Black had almost a win in this position with the move bishop e4, targeting the pawn on g2, but the problem is that the black king can't come to e4. If you want, you can find the move that Shirov played in the game. Think about this position and find the winning move for black. You have a chance of beating the ex-world champion. Find the move that Shirov played in the game. You can pause the video right now. Shirov found the move bishop to h3. Boom! In this position, white has to take the black bishop. If he would do something else, let's say king to f2, black would continue his plan of coming to e4. He'd play the move king to f5, and after something like king to f3, trying to stop the black king from coming into the e4 square, black just takes the pawn on g2, the white king recaptures, and we play the move king to e4. This is a beautiful central square, and now we have not 2, but 3 passed pawns, which is simply too much for white to handle. Also, notice that the white bishop can't take the pawn on f6, because we would play the move d4 in this position, stopping the white bishop from controlling the queening square. But of course you all want to know what happens if white would take the bishop on h3. And this is the same story. Black has created 3 passed pawns and this is simply too much for white to handle. And black goes for the same plan. King to f5, king to f2 and king to e4. And we are threatening to promote all of our pawns. White's best chance would be to take the pawn on f6. And as I told you, we play the move d4 in this position, stopping the white bishop from controlling the square on a1, but white can play the move bishop to e7. And now if the white king would be able to stop this pawn, and the white bishop would be able to stop this pawn, black would have no chances of winning. But black has a very nice plan in this position. He wants to go to the c2 square from where he can promote his pawn. So black plays the move king to d3. White's best try in this position would be to play the move bishop to c5, attacking the pawn on d4. And now black can't finish his plan because white takes that pawn. But we have a very nice resource in this position, which is the move king to c4, attacking the bishop. And the nice thing is that the white bishop needs to stay on this diagonal. If not, we would just be able to promote the pawn. So white has to play a move like bishop to e7. And now we can actually finish our plan of coming to c2. We play the move king to c3. And now there is no point for the white bishop to come back to c5 because we would simply play the move d3. A better try for white would be to play the move king to e2. But then we finish our plan and we play the move king to c2. And we are ready to promote the pawn. White's last resource is to play the move bishop to b4. He's trying to stay on both of these diagonals, but as we will see, the bishop is overloaded. We simply play the move d3 check. White plays the move e1, controlling the square on d2. But as I told you, it's simply impossible for white to stay on both diagonals. We make use of the fact that the white bishop is overloaded and we play the move a3. Black is threatening to promote the pawn, so white has to take that one. Since the white bishop isn't controlling the square on d2 any longer, we can go ahead and play the move d2 check. And we can finally queen the pawn. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.